I wanna call you up sometimes whenever you cross my mind. Wanna go back in time.
People stress about what they want to do, especially now with social media, because everybody seems to have their life together on social media. Like you look at other people and you're like, wow, like they're only 21, they're only 18, and they're doing all these things, and I don't even know what I want to do, you know. So I feel like the stress of seeing people on social media and feeling like you understand their life and you feel like everything is so put together and that they know what they want to do, like I feel like it creates so much anxiety, you know.
Yeah.
As much as I love to dance and I love to do what I'm doing, like I'm still trying to make my life more stable, you know, like it's like financially like stable, you know, like I'm trying to find new ways to make money and you know, market myself, you know. So it's never, even though things might seem perfect, they're never perfect, you know. The first thing you have to do, find something, like even if it's you're not passionate about it, go online and look up things that you could do, you know what I mean? Like look up job options, like go searching and figure out like what would I want to do, like based off of my personality, like what would be like something cool, you know, and just take time to figure it out. Like it's okay, you know, like when I left high school, like my teachers were like, "Oh, like you like you're not gonna be like successful because you have to go to college. Like you can't just leave after high school and go dance. Like what would happen if you break your leg?" Well, I'm like, if I break my leg, all I have to do is go back to college. You know what I mean? Like there's no set time to go back to college. Like I didn't have to go when I was 18, you know. But we have this idea in our head that everything is supposed to be like this. After primary school, you go to high school, college, and it doesn't have to be that way. You know, like there's people who are like 30 years old, 40 years old, only now going to college, or 70 years old, you know, like now getting a degree in high school. You know, it's like you can set up your life however you choose to do it, you know. And luckily I'm lucky in a sense that I had family to support me through the times when I couldn't support myself, you know. But we all just have to try to find our way and not worry about what society says is the right thing to do, because I think like I'm a prime example of, I didn't go to college. I'm creating my own life from scratch, not based off of how our parents or our teachers think that things are supposed to go, you know. And especially now, like there's teenage kids making millions of dollars off of Instagram, off of an original idea that they just happen to come up with, you know. So my number one thing, like to even start telling like high school students, would be like, erase whatever you have in your mind of what you think you're supposed to do or how your life is supposed to go, and then find out what you love, if there's anything that you love or anything that you're passionate about. And if you don't know what it is, try to figure it out. That's all. Take your time and figure it out, you know. And don't think that school is the only option. Don't think that school is the only option, because you could take a year off before you go to college, stay home and talk to different people, meet up with different people, like look at people who are doing things that you might possibly want to do, and just create your own life, you know. Create it in a very unique way. Don't just follow this pattern because you feel like you might not be successful. Like I was the one person out of my class probably that didn't apply for college, you know.
Yeah. Wow.
And now I have so many friends. Okay, some of them graduated and some of them back home on the island not knowing what to do with their life, you know. So who's to say that just because you apply for college everything is going to be great? Like I have friends that still don't have jobs.
True.
You know, I have friends that even after 4 years of college still don't know what they want to do. So I would never want to tell somebody that school is not important, but in our generation, school is not determined success at all.
True.
You know?
And
so
happiness.
Once they stress, yeah, exactly, and happiness too. So once they get over that stress and anxiety of like, oh my god, school, success, like, you know, like then they can actually finally maybe find something that they're actually passionate about.
Yeah.
So I would think go after what you're passionate about, because you don't want to be 50 years old in your house like, damn, like I wish I just attempted to be a dancer. Like what would happen if I tried, you know? Like I don't want to live with any regrets. So do what you love, because you don't want to live with regrets, you know?
Why would I let these other girls waste my time? When you the only one that be on my mind. Let's just start new and never hit rewind. Tell me what I gotta do for me to make you mine again.
So in high school, actually, I don't know if it's the same on the French side, but I know like on the Dutch side, when you reach to third form, we have to choose a package. Either you choose like a science package or a business package.
Okay.
Those are the subjects that you would focus on. And I chose science package because I love nature. Like before dance, like I was like a science freak. Anything to do with being outside, nature, animals, insects, like I was all into those kind of things. My grades were horrible, horrible, and I was so devastated because like I already like I knew I wanted to be a veterinarian. I wanted to travel and help animals. Like I was so passionate about those type of things, and dance was never like a idea in my head. Like I was never. I used to tell myself I used to be like, Bianca, you cannot dance professionally. Like that's not a living. Like you're going to be broke. Like it doesn't make sense. Don't even think about it. So in high school, as much as I love to dance, like it was a hobby until I started failing in science. Until I started failing in chemistry, biology. Like I was like, I was like, my whole life is based around this science package right now, and I'm not doing a good job. I'm like, what the hell am I going to do with my life?
You must have been like so depressed, no?
Yes, I was really sad. I was getting really sad. Like, and then going to dance class after a long day of school, that was my thing. That was like, it made me feel okay again. You know, I was like dance was the one thing that I was good at, even though I was failing in school. I was like, okay, you know what? I feel good whenever I go to dance. And then a year passed, dance just became like number one for me. Like all of a sudden I was so focused on becoming like better and better, and I was taking so many classes like every day. I think I want to like pursue dance professionally. My family was really supportive of the decision. When I got to fifth form, which is the last year of high school, I actually left high school. I left high school to finish school online. I finished high school online. I had to do 2 extra years. Luckily, you know, when you do school online, you could travel anywhere. You could be anywhere in the world, and you could take these classes anywhere. So in between doing school online, I was traveling to New York every summer, or like taking different workshops to like train and, you know, get to like a certain level, like just to like it was like a trial period, you know, kind of like, okay, now I'm going to the US, let's see if this is really what I want to do.
Financially, was it your parents like helping you? And totally,
of course, yeah.
Wow,
in the beginning, so especially, yes, it was all my parents. Like my parents was doing everything. When I officially moved to New York when I was 18, I got the scholarship from the government, the Dutch government. So that really helped me, of course, because moving to New York, super expensive.
Yes.
Being in a dance program, super expensive. In my mind, I already knew what I wanted. I knew that I wanted to be a professional. I was in a dance program when I first got to New York for about like 4 or 5 months. And so I had to take 12 classes a week. That's a lot. So that means 3 classes a day.
Yeah. Okay, so,
which is a lot. They're all different styles, like ballet, jazz, hip hop, contemporary. And I wasn't used to a lot of these styles. You know, like so many of these styles were like completely new to me. I was taking 6 classes a week, or maybe 7, back in Saint-Barthélémy. And I've been taking those classes my whole life. So that means my body was used to it. Like it was nothing challenging. It was nothing new. Double that times 2. Completely intense, being in the middle of New York City, like competition, different styles. Like I'm like, whoa! But like I did it. I did it, and I got signed to an agency, which is really really important if you want to be a professional dancer. You need to have an agent, which is somebody who sends you to these auditions that you might not know about unless you had an agent. You know, like for movies, for music videos, tours, like working with artists. The specific agency that I got signed to, it was always a dream of mine to be with them. So when they contacted me, like I was just like, of course I was so happy, but then at the same time, like being in New York for 5 months straight, like I was like depressed. I was ready to go home because I didn't have any friends. It was kind of hard making friends in like a huge city, you know, like I just didn't relate to anybody. I didn't have any friends. I just felt like lonely. Like I missed my friends. I missed the island. Like I was over it. I was like, Mom, like I don't want to do this. I wanted to just go home. I wanted to give up. It was really bad, and I didn't want to make new friends. You know, I wasn't ready to like, hi, my name is Bianca. Like, you know, like I wasn't ready to be that person, and I was really shy. Like I just, you know, it's different when you're on vacation and you go to a different place, but it's like when you know that you live there now, like you have the pressure of feeling like you have to create a whole new life for yourself, you know? And then it's like being away from the beach, and then like being in the cold, and
the cold,
all the buildings. Like I was just like, oh my God. And then I wasn't used to seeing like homeless people on the streets and stuff. And New York is the number one place for homeless people on the street.
True, it's very violent.
I was just so sad with everything around me. Like I was like, this sucks. I'm like, why am I here? Like this is horrible. I was crying. I do not care what you have to say. I am going home. Depressed. I was crying. I was like, if I stay here, I will die. Literally. My mom was so worried about me. She was like, okay, you know what? I have to bring this girl home. I stayed home for about 4 months after that. February, she was like, are you ready to go back? I was like, no. March, no. April. And then finally I left in May again. So it took me a long time to really get myself together to figure out if this is what I wanted to do and how I was going to do it and how I was going to deal with everything, So then by April, my agency contacted me and they're like, well, hello, like if you're not in New York, this doesn't make sense. So they canceled the contract.
No.
So they canceled the contract. And I was so sad because I was like, oh my God, like this was like my dream. And I just let it slip through my hands. But I was sad, but at the same time I was like, I still don't care because I had to be home. Like I had to get back into like a healthier state of mind first. I didn't have an agency anymore, so I was like, okay, great, back to square one. So it was a long time of me just working, taking classes, meeting people, trying to create this new life for myself. And then fast forward months until the next year in February, the same agency had an audition. And I got re-signed. They signed me again, and I was like, okay, great. Like, they was welcome back.
Wow.
And you have to practice. You have to condition your body. Like, people who do sports and basketball, they have to wake up and work out and eat the right things and practice every day so they stay on a certain level so they can get better. But I think when it comes to dance, people don't see it in the same way. They think that you just know how to dance and that's it. Like no. So then after I got signed, of course I was happy. I was like, yeah, okay, like next step, moving on. And then a few months after that, I ended up booking like my first big job, which was for a national commercial. I wasn't dancing. I was more like an actress in this commercial. And then like right after that, that's when I booked this huge tour to go to Japan and perform with. I was in Japan for 4 months on tour with top artists. And I was performing with these like super famous of course on the western side of the world we have no idea who they are, but in Japan, on the east, like they are like so famous, like on Beyonce type level.
Wow.
So like we were performing in stadiums for like 50,000 people every night. When I got back to New York, like all of a sudden I love New York so much. Like I had friends. I found my community. Like I found like my people who I could really consider like friends. I was so happy. All of a sudden I was like, I love New York because I used to hate New York. I found like a stable apartment. Like I finally found friends, and then I started exploring dance hall because coming from the Caribbean, I guess people would assume that you do dance hall, but my real friends know that I was so not into dance hall, not into like the Caribbean vibe at all. A little bit, but not like crazy. Like if you go on my Instagram, all you see now is like Caribbean type videos. I was obsessed with hip hop. Hip hop was like my number one thing because hip hop is something that everybody does, and so it's hard to be recognized for it if you're not like the best. And although I was training in the style, like it wasn't bringing me any recognition. People weren't recognizing me for being that dancer. But then as soon as I got onto the dance hall and the Afrobeat scene, and then people started seeing me do it and do so good at it, like that's when I started booking all these like Sean Paul, and Hood Celebrity and BET and all these different things that happened for me last year. Like I finally had a thing. Like it was like, oh, the redhead girl that does like the dance hall. In the beginning of the year, like I wrote down my goals and I was like, okay, like who do you want to dance for? Like what do you want to do? And I think at the top of my list, I said represent in the world with other Caribbean artists. Like I feel like it's amazing that Caribbean artists are at the level that they are at now, where people listen to their music all over the world. So I figure like like I'm from the Caribbean, like I love to represent for my island.
and throw away the key. She and the marijuana, na na na. My baby, you are for me.